Faiza, a woman in her late 30s, sits alone in an expansive corner office with glass walls that show the city below. Her coat is draped over the back of a chair. The office is quiet, but for the faint hum of the city. She is a CEO, efficient, polished, and fundamentally lonely. A knock at the heavy wooden door interrupts her. She does not get up immediately. The door opens, and a child, 8 years old, appears. She is small, in a faded dress, clutching a small tin box. Around her neck hangs a thin silver necklace with a tiny, hand-carved moon pendant. "Girl, can you be my mom for just one day?" Faiza looks up. The single line seems absurd in the posh office. Her eyes go to the necklace. For a moment she freezes, not because she recognizes the girl, but because the pendant is the exact same as the one she thought she had lost years ago. The thinnest of threads links a memory she had stored away and called dead. "Faiza, who sent you?" "Girl, no one. I just came. My name is Noor. I heard there was a lady in a big building who could help. Please." Faiza help with what? Noor looks down at her hands, and then up at Faiza with a steady seriousness beyond her years. "Noor, I need a mom for a day. Mom is busy. She works too much. She said if I could find someone who looked like she did when she was small, she would let me have a day with her. I practiced being brave all the way here." "Faiza, why me?" "Noor, because you have a moon on your office table. And the man at the gate told me you look like a kind boss. He said you had sharp eyes but a soft mouth." Faiza inhales. She looks at the small moon paperweight on the polished walnut desk. Her face tightens, the past pressing against the present. "Faiza, my name is Faiza. I am not a mom. I am a CEO. I manage budgets, meetings, mergers, schedules, and expectations. I do not do tea parties. I do not know how to braid hair, nor you can learn silence." Faiza is amused despite herself. Her mouth curves, but the motion is brief and guarded. "Faiza, you came alone." "Nor I came with my courage." And this, Noor opens the tin box. Inside, nestled in soft tissue, lies a small, tarnished locket with a faded photograph inside. The photo is black and white. It shows a smiling woman with fierce eyes and a boy holding a paper airplane. Faiza freezes more fully now. The woman in the photograph is unmistakable. "Faiza, where did you get that?" "Noor, my mom said it was ours. She said it belonged to the moon lady. She said the moon lady left it when she had to go fix the world. She said sometimes people who fix the world forget to come home." Faiza closes her eyes. The memory of a locket, of small hands leaving it in her palm when she was 20, rushes forward. She had thought she had lost it. She had thought she had lost the person who gave it to her too. The room shudders into a silence heavy with history. "Faiza, who gave it to you?" "Nor my grandma. She said it would bring me luck and that when I wanted something very much I should ask a grown woman to lend me her heart for one day." Faiza blinks. She realizes with a start that the girl has given her a role. For the first time in years, the possibility of being tender, of being chosen, tugs at something raw inside her. "Faiza, if I agree to this, what exactly do you want?" "Nor everything a mom would do for one day. Make pancakes, tell a story, fix a scraped knee, laugh like it matters. Teach me something I can keep when I am big. Sleep in the same room, so I am not scared. Let me hold your hand when the fireworks start." Faiza looks at the neat list in the child's face. It is not a list of demands, but of wants that are small enough to grant and large enough to matter. The CEO part of her catalogs risks, schedules, and PR issues. The human part counts her own lonely years in parallel with the child's short list and finds herself wanting to say yes. "Faiza, give me 10 minutes. I will change. We will go, but you need to be honest. If you are lost or someone sent you here for a trick, you tell me, and I will call someone who can help." Noor nods, and the relief that follows is a tiny festival. They leave the office together. As they go through the glass doors, Faiza reaches out to touch the pendant at Noor's throat. Noor looks down and smiles, unaware of the full weight of what she has offered. They walk through streets Faiza knows well, but now sees differently. People pass by in a blur, and the city hums with that particular midday energy of efficiency and anonymity. Faiza tucked the locket into her palm as a private weight. She finds herself protective of the small girl's courage. Cut to a city apartment 5 floors down. The building is warm, cluttered, and filled with the smell of spices. Noor's mother, Saba, mid-30s with tired eyes and aproned hands, is indeed busy. The apartment is a mess of laundry, bills, and half-done crafts. She looks up when Faiza and Noor enter. Noor runs to her and jumps up into her arms. For a moment, Saba's face softens completely. Then something like guilt or steel returns. Saba, who is this? Nor she is my mom for today. Please be okay with it. Saba hesitates. She looks at Faiza and sees a woman whose presence fills a room differently than most. Faiza feels the scrutiny and answers with simple honesty. Faiza, I work nearby. Nur asked. I said yes. Saba studies her. The edges of her mouth pull. She is used to being judged for leaving Nur alone, sometimes for work or for the way life happens around a small child. She is also charmed by the intentional absurdity of asking a CEO to be a mom for a day. Saba, for how long? Nur, all day. Until bedtime. Saba exhales. She looks at Nur's face, at the hopeful tilt of her chin, at the brave set of her little shoulders, and for the first time allows herself to imagine what a concentrated day of care might be like. She steps back and nods once. Saba one day, then Faiza feels an unexpected grief and gratitude as she realizes that she has been given something to do that will not appear in a corporate report. She takes Nur's small hand and smiles in a way that is more honest than any of her public smiles. Montage of the day. They learn how to make pancakes with too much sugar and not enough patience. Nur teaches Faiza how to whistle with a blade of grass. Faiza shows Nur how to fold paper into an airplane and then turn that into a paper hat. They go to a bookstore where Faiza, nervously generous, buys Nur a book of stories and reads aloud in a coffee shop where the barista smiles at the sight of the pair. Faiza forgets a meeting, though she does not mean to. She goes unpunished. The world, for a small window, rearranges itself around the idea that someone can be held without metric. They visit a park where an old fountain sputters. Nur teaches Faiza to look for frogs under rocks and to count clouds as if they were a private alphabet. Faiza, who has spent years negotiating contracts and talent, negotiates the exact right amount of syrup for a pancake and a compromise about not staying out too late. The negotiation is softer and somehow harder than any business deal. Later, they walk to a riverside where an annual light festival is happening. Nur clutches Faiza's hand as lanterns are released into the air. There is a brief moment when the necklace sparkles in the lamplight and Faiza is transported back to a different life, when she was younger and reckless and the locket had been warm in her palm. Nur, tell me a story about when you were little. About something that made you brave. Faiza pauses. She is not used to telling anyone of her secret failures and small triumphs. But Nur's face is open and patient, and the river makes the city feel safer. Faiza, when I was small, I built a boat out of cardboard. I thought it would take me to the ocean. I painted it bright red, and I called it the Midnight Sailor. My neighbor said it would fall apart, and that I should not waste my time. I launched it into a rain puddle, and I watched it float and then sink. I cried a lot. But then I built another one, until one day the boat made it to the edge of the pond, and an old man waved and cheered. I learned from the boats that trying matters more than the first attempt. Nor, so you are brave because you keep building. Faiza, yes. And because I learned to ask for rope when I needed it. Nur laughs. The laugh is a little sharper by the river. She leans into Faiza and says something that makes the older woman feel like time has folded onto itself. Nur, when I am big, I will build rockets and come find you. I will bring you stars. Faiza, I will hold the map, and you will hold the stars. Night falls, and Nur becomes sleepy. Faiza tucks Nur into bed and discovers that she is awkwardly good at putting a blanket over the child without fuss. Nur's eyes flutter shut, and for once Faiza does not think about the next meeting. She thinks about the small, precise acts that make someone feel loved. She finds that she wants to do them again. The next morning, Faiza returns, Nur to Saba. Saba's face is unreadable when she opens the door. She is relieved to see that Nur is clean and happy. Something in Saba shifts as she sees Faiza hand over a small envelope. Faiza explains, Faiza, I am not asking for anything. Just a note. If you ever need a day like today, I will come. Also, that necklace came from me before. I lost it years ago. I thought I lost the woman who gave it to me too. I did not know it had found its way to you. Saba opens the envelope. Inside is a handwritten list of small promises and ways to have a day like this without needing money. Suggestions like make pancakes, sit together for 30 minutes, let the child choose a book. Each item has Faiza's precise script notes and a line for a signature at the bottom that says sign when you need a day. Saba's eyes shine with unexpected tears. She looks at Faiza and then at Nur and is suddenly a woman who will consider asking for help when she needs it. Saba, why did you give this back to me? Faiza, because someone once did that for me. A woman let me be small for a day, and it changed me. I thought I had lost her. I was wrong. Maybe she lost me. Either way, it matters that little kindnesses keep moving around the world. Saba wipes her eyes and gives Faiza a quick, private hug that speaks 1,000 sentences. As Faiza leaves, she feels lighter and tenser all at once. The necklace seems to hum at her throat. The weight of it is not material, but like a reminder that people appear in each other's lives in circular patterns. Months pass. Faiza returns sometimes. Not all the time. She does not belong to this family, but she has become part of a network of small, intentional aid. Nur grows. Sometimes the little girl runs to the office with glitter on her cheeks. Once, Nur comes wearing a school uniform and hands Faiza a note. "Thank you for teaching me to make paper rockets." Faiza keeps the note. She keeps a box of other such things in her desk, tokens of soft rebellion against the lonely machinery of her life. One day, a man in a faded suit appears at Faiza's office door. He carries a photograph. It is of the woman in the black and white photo from the locket years ago. His hands shake. "Man, are you Faiza Khan Faiza?" "Yes, man, I thought I would find you. She told me once to find whoever had the moon locket. She said whoever held it had to pass along her message. She said the message was simple. The man's eyes hold memory and sorrow." He puts the photograph on Faiza's desk. It is of the woman looking tired but fierce. At the edge of the photo is the corner of a hospital name. The man tells a story about a small village, a woman who fixed radios, who taught children to read, and who left a locket with a stranger so that someone would always remember her kindness. The woman in the photo is not dead, but she had moved far away and had been waiting to be found. Man, she asked that whoever found the locket would continue the chain. Help one small person who needs a day. Let them borrow your warmth and then pass it on. She said the world would grow better in small increments. Faiza looks at the moon pendant Noor had worn so recklessly, then at the photograph, then at the man who had traversed years to find a symbolic return. She feels something close to forgiveness for her younger self, for the reckless choices, for the compromises she had made. She realizes the locket was never just jewelry. It was an instruction. Faiza, where is she now? Man, she lives in a town by the sea. She thought the locket had been lost. She wanted to know if what she started had continued. Faiza tells the man of Noor and Saba and of the envelope and the promises. The man smiles like someone who has been given his question answered. He leaves with a lighter step than when he arrived. Faiza's office is slightly dimmer after he leaves. The city hums outside, indifferent and alive. In the months that follow, Faiza institutes an informal program within her company. Not on paper, not in budgets, but by simple invitation. Employees who need a day of care for their children can sign up for a list of temporary caregivers from volunteers who will trade one day's labor for one quiet favor. The program is small and quietly effective. It makes headlines in an offhand column about companies that try to be human. People write notes to Faiza. Some are angry, some grateful, some skeptical. Mostly they are messy and human and changing. At the opening of a small community center, Faiza stands and says a few words. She does not speak about metrics. She is embarrassingly honest. She says she was once a lonely woman in a glass tower who thought herself too busy for small kindnesses. She says she was wrong. She thanks a woman who once let her be small and asks everyone to consider what little things they could pass on. After the speech, Noor runs up on stage and hugs her. The crowd laughs and applauds. For a moment, the applause feels like a safe place. The moon pendant flashes in the stage lights. Noor looks at Faiza and whispers something that makes the older woman laugh and cry at the same time. "Noor, you were my mom for just one day, but you taught me to keep asking for more days, Faiza, and you taught me not to forget how to play later." Long after the applause has been filed away and the center's lights are off, Faiza opens an email. It is from the woman in the photograph. Her name is Aisha. She writes from a small town by the sea with gulls in the morning and a shop that still fixes radios. She writes to say that she lost the locket once in a market and that she left it with a woman who needed it. She tells a story of how kindness echoes and that she is glad to hear of the chain continuing. "Aisha, if you are ever by the sea, come have tea. There are always seats open." Faiza prints the email and tucks it into the small box with the locket. Noor's handwriting note is in there too. Faiza places the box on her desk where the moon paperweight had been and looks out at the city, which suddenly looks less like a machine and more like a place where small kindnesses travel like secret currents beneath the concrete. A late night in the office a few weeks later. Faiza sits with a single lamp on and a stack of reports. The glass city outside glitters, but feels distant. She turns the small box with the locket between her fingers and remembers a woman who once taught her how to thread courage into small actions. The memory is not a story told with neat ends. It is a patchwork of small mercies. She starts writing again in her private notebook. Not strategies or market projections, but a list of tiny interventions she can offer to others. Leave an extra coupon at the clinic. Ask an employee if they need an afternoon off to be with a child. Volunteer to read at a school. The items feel foolish and heroic at once. On a Saturday morning, Faiza finds herself on a field trip bus with Nora's class. She sits at the back and watches the children chatter. Nora rushes up and shows her a papier-mâché planet. Faiza applauds with real delight. A teacher approaches and nods toward Faiza with an expression of gratitude that warms her like sunlight on cold skin. Teacher, they still talk about your visit, Faiza. They made my day. The statement is true in a way that surprises Faiza. Small acts of presence can echo far beyond their hour. She resolves to keep being present in small ways and to encourage others to do the same. Months later, Faiza travels to a coastal town for a quiet weekend. She carries the locket in her pocket and walks into a tea shop where an older woman fixes radios and tells stories. Aisha, the woman in the photograph, recognizes the locket immediately, and they exchange a simple, honest conversation. No accusations, only shared histories and the unspoken relief of finding someone who understood what it meant to pass kindness along. Aisha, you kept it moving, Faiza. So did you. They sit and talk until rain eases and gulls call. Outside, the town moves along its modest pace. Inside, a small radio crackles, and a group of children listen to Aisha tell a story about a moon pendant that traveled the world. Faiza smiles, feeling like a part of a long, fragile chain. The script ends not with closure, but with a returned sense of direction. Faiza makes a paper boat and sets it on a slow river. She watches it drift and then catch a current. The pendant at her throat is a small, warm reminder. Someone else will one day hold it and pass it on. The film closes on the boat as it moves forward into the gray light, an ordinary vessel carrying extraordinary intent.